Hello, friends. Most welcome to the Northeast Web Water Talk series. This is the episode number 8 and the Web Water Talk series number 1. Today's session is going to be chaired by Hema Das. Just to introduce Hema Ba. Hema Ba is a founder member of the Eastern Action Socio-Economic Development Task. She did schooling in Arunachal Pradesh, done graduation in Handique Girls College, Guwahati, and master in history at Cotton College, and presently associated with the DAIS based in Tezpur, working as a secretary. And DAIS is the voluntary grassroot organization based at Tezpur, working for social and gender justice and communities control over land and resources. Hema Das is also a member of District Women's Cell Tezpur, Sonitpur, and also a member of the Ethics Committee of LGBRIMH. So most welcome Hema Das for chairing these sessions.
We have two speakers today, and before going to that, I would like to thank Bhai for giving me this opportunity to get introduced to so many environment activists and persons who are working with water and ecology, biodiversity. And I would like to thank Ram also, both Bhai and Ram. It's their dedication which has made it happen in reality. So I must thank them. And and being a person from a grassroots organization that is also working for the women's rights, social and gender justice, most of the time we are with the women, and we hardly, like, to be very frank, we hardly talk about the biodiversity, the environment and all. So this is an opportunity for me to get introduced to a large number of people, and now I'll introduce both the storyteller today. And the first storyteller, whom I would like to introduce today, is Zion Ramrueta. Is a farmer from Vairangte. He's a farmer from the Vairangte and a general secretary of all Mizoram Farmers Union, AMFU. He has been engaged in the issue related to farming for a long in Mizoram. So, over to you, sir.
Yes,
Please narrate your story.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, all. And I am very thankful for having me here in these discussions. And today I'm going to present on the story of Aitlang, which is in Varengte, and that is my hometown where I was born. And Aitlang, first let me tell you about the Varengte. That Varengte is situated in the northernmost bordering Assam, Kachar district, and it just situated there. Once you come to Mizoram by road, you must have to cross this Varengte, and you have to have pass through from Silchar to reach Aizawl. So it's a very important town, and the population is around more than 10,000. And if we if we included all the army men who are situated there, we may be more than presently around 15,000. So it is one of the most important town in Mizoram. And recently you may heard about the clashes between Assam and Mizoram on the border issue. That is where it all started here. That is my hometown. And Aitlang River, we may call it as a river in Mizoram. and you may not find in the river map of Mizoram, because I call it river because it's very important to us. That's why I make it. We name it as a river, but one may call it a stream also, because it the area becomes very small in size right now due to many reasons why I'm going to tell right now. And the name derived from uh, one fruit, which is called in Mizo Korthindang. And in English, it is an elephant apple. Uh, it is called Aitlang because one of the Mizo subtribe, Mar, has named it Korthindang as Aitlang. So the name derived from a Mar language, and Kuki. Kuki also call it as a Aitlang. So uh, those who are settled here first uh, are mainly from Mar and Kuki's tribe. So the name derived from those two groups, and it is named as Aitlang. And Aitlang is one of the main hotspot for hunters during those 1950s, 1960s, 70s, till 1980. Uh, there are a huge number of elephant and some other animals, and the hunters really love this place, and they used to hunt it down a lot of animals during those times. And the the Aitlang have its own source, its source in Vairengte itself, under the areas of Vairengte itself. So it stretches around 10 kilometers in length within Vairengte, and uh, it has its own source, and uh, plus Vairengte is Aitlang. Let me go. Aitlang is where people, most of the people are depending for agriculture purposes, uh, and there are a lot of wet rice cultivations and fish ponds nearby this Aitlang from the past 50 years back. And we, the people of Vairengte, are totally depending on this water, this river, for our domestic purposes. So we all are depending on this Aitlang River, and for domestic purposes. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not just domestic, it's people are depending on for this agriculture purposes. And uh, there are a lot of fish, crabs, and water snails and prawns. We used to catch a lot of fishes and those things from the school, this Aitlang River. But the problem nowadays is that the government, with the aim of alleviation of uh, poverty in developing the Mizoram economy, it has launched many different schemes like NLUP, New Land Use Policy, and even before that, the then government like PC government, they have launched a teak plantation, a monoculture system of activities has been always initiated, has been implemented in Mizoram. It has an adverse effect in the river source, and especially within the past 10 years from now, from this time, there has been a huge number of broom cultivation in the bank on the river bank of Aitlang. So this led to the decline of water supply in this Aitlang. And recently I visited Aitlang. Earlier, it was used to be more than nearly 25 in feet. It is quite large in size, but now we can even jump across this Aitlang, and it becomes so small that I really felt sorry for seeing such situation. And this is mainly due to the practice of Jum cultivation plus broom cultivation, I can say, as it is always burned by the farmers because to get the young ones and better quality, the farmers always used to burn their fields and fertility of the soil plus the supply of the water becomes very lesser and lesser. We can see it from our own eyes, and this is very sad. And plus, uh, the teak plantation was initiated by the forest department during the past 40 years back, and due to that, the there has been a lot of environmental hazard in these surrounding areas, which is also need to be noted. Plus, the increase of population during the past 20 years back, there has been a lot of increase in population in Varangte areas. And this led to a lot of difficulties for the uh, Aitla, as there was no proper plan, and this led to a lot of pollution in the water, in the water sources. Besides that, um, Aitlang is a home to many uh, living beings in the past, but now as population increases and more developments enter, some construction of the roads and many development have entered. The Aitlang water sources become very it decreases day we can say year by year. We can see it from our own eyes. So it is very sad to inform this kind of to see this kind of developments in this present day. And plus yesterday also I have asked our farmers to stop practicing a monoculture type of activities like broom cultivations and these teak plantations. Almost the teak plantations has been given up right now, but the broom cultivation is always in at the they are always practicing because Varangte is, as I mentioned, it's on the border situation where the farmers can sell this broom at very good price to the business, to the buyers of Baga and Silchar. So the issue has to be raised, and we have started raising these practices to stop. And I hope in the future, from today on, from this present day, more awareness has to be created to the people of Varente and the surrounding in order to increase the water supplies. Thank you. I will end it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very interesting, like to know about the whole thing. So
Yes.
thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
And like even I would like to add one thing into this, that when we talk about water, so like it is very important to see the perspective of women, in the sense like we are so connected with water. Though
Yes,
we
yes.
hardly talk about water, though we hardly talk about the environment and all, like we are so much connected that from the day we begin, the time we get up from the bed, we start with water and we end the day with it, and we hardly know what is happening and what is going to happen in future. So when you talk about the hills, the story of the hills, there also I because I've been brought up in the hill areas, how the girls and women, they have to fetch all the way, they have to go to fetch water from such a far away places. They used to bring water from there, and that water has its different smell, and the like it is so pure and serene, like no, I can imagine
Yes.
that. Thank you so much for your sharing, like no,
Yeah.
we got a lot of reflection from that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Manas Jyoti Sutia. He is from Assam, and like he will share about the story of a Mudoi bill. And I would like to mention few things about Manas Jyoti Sutia. Is that he worked in various capacities with different organizations ranging from education to development. He has been a freelance content writer. His area of interest is primarily in literature, culture, and society. He is also a photo enthusiast and has volunteered for photo documentation on natural heritage and people. He is one of the key person in developing water narrative. And I would like to say that Krisap Krishna Satradhar, whom we call Bhai, is also involved in narrating this thing. Though today Manas will share the story. So Manas, it is over to you.
Thank you, Emma. So my story is about Mudoi Bill, and in Lakhimpur village, village in Lakhimpur district, and it is located on the banks of the river Subansiri. Not only Subansiri, this village is also affected by three major rivers. One is Brahmaputra, the second one is Subansiri, and the other one is Ranganadi River. So we have, Vaida and me, we have built up this story in one particular framework, and this framework is about like settlement, displacement, and resettlement, and redisplacement kind of thing. So this is the framework, and we have, and within the ambit of this framework, we have tried to look into the economic, the political, the social, health and sanitation, and impacts like that. So before moving into the story, let us look into the etymology of this particular name, Mudoi Bill. Who is a Mudoi? Mudoi Bill. So for those, the Assamese speaking people will know who is a Mudoi, but for other guys, Mudoi is simply a wandering tradesman, and he does his trade, wandering, moving up and down the river. And he has this exposure to multiple cultures, particularly riparian cultures. And he has a very interesting place in Assamese folktales and fables. So he has a very respectful place, Mudoi. Someone is a Mudoi, we call Hodago or Mudoi. He's a very fascinating kind of person. So it's almost like a legend, Mudoi. Mudoi is almost like a legend. So then this particular village is affected by erosion, primarily erosion and flood, and it is because of this flood and erosion, and they have a loss of occupation, they have loss of agricultural land, they have lost the possession of land and property. So these are the challenges that they have. So Mudoibil, this village has also a mythical history, and we met an old man. His name was American Dole. So he told us that they came from Majuli. There was a village in Majuli called Dofalapothar near Kherkota, and they came from there. And they came to this place, to this particular village in 1952. So there was a booming trade of dry fish market in that area. Mudoibil was a wetland, and it was flocked by fish. It was very famous for fish. So traders would come and procure stocks, and that they would carry to Jagir Road in those days. Jagir Road. So he also narrated us a legend. He also narrated us a story about the King Arimatta. Arimatta was a medieval king, and we have a reference of this particular king in Mahabharata also, the Mahabharata story. A medieval king, he's a medieval king. So there are some ponds in this particular village, and he claims that these ponds were dug by King Arimatta. But we never know if his claims are historically verified or not, or if there has been any archaeological explorations. We never know. But we do not want to challenge him, or we do not want to raise doubts on his claims. We better leave it to their beliefs. So there are some ponds, but the thing is that these ponds have never been used, because once a pond is believed to be historical, so there is always a fear in my heart and mind of people, that this pond may be possessed by some spirit, or ghost that they call Kalika. So Kalika is a ghost, so they never dare to step in those ponds. So there are some water bodies. And this particular wetland, Mudoibil, and these ponds, these mythical ponds or the historical ponds, now are gradually being lost in this problem of erosion. This Mudoibil and these ponds are gradually being eroded by Subansiri. So they're losing one by one. So as it is impermanency, the settlement, frequent displacement is one of the key features of this location. They never get these funds to settle in one particular location just because of the flood and the erosion, the problem of erosion. But the thing is that they are a Mishing community, and it is one of the characteristic of the Mishing community, riparian Mishing community, to shift their settlement from one place to other, especially the riparian ones. So one particular guy, he told us that we are Mishing, and we have a stilt elevated house traditionally built in. We do not fear flood. The flood water would simply pass down the houses. But what they fear is the problem of erosion, because the erosion, because of this erosion, they are losing farmland, their houses, and everything. Erosion compels people to move and find a new home again and again. So they have changed their home countless number of times. The location that they are now currently settled in, they came here in year 2000. And the thing is that when we did our story way back in 2019, and since 2 years have passed, almost half of the village is lost in the heart of the river. So that's the condition. And chances are pretty high that they will have to shift to another location soon again. And there has been some a particular interesting type of vegetation in and around those villages, and this vegetation are like mangrove trees, and we people call it as korok trees, and they are locally known as korok. So these korok trees had a dense interconnected roots that tightly hold the soil, so it could prevent erosion. So a diverse range of fish took shelter in those roots. At sengmas, seng is a type of fish. But the thing is that people fail to recognize people fail to identify the benefit of these trees, these mangrove kind of trees. They began to cut them down as firewood, and in the passage of time, these korok trees are lost. It's just because of this human exploitation. And the next thing about Mudoi Bill is about the drinking water, of course. When we went there, we could saw yellow pigment in their eyes. And most of the women and children, they had yellow pigment in their eyes. And yellow pigment would necessarily, I do not know, we do not know about any medical theory, but the thing is that the yellow pigment in eyes, especially refers to some weak liver, jaundice kind of things. But jaundice, malaria, and diarrhea, these are all common diseases in these villages. So they have some 30 hand pumps, and these hand pumps are shared by a particular cluster of households, about 3 families on average. And they have installed those hand pumps on flat grounds, but when water comes in, these hand pumps are simply submerged. And as far as the sanitation is concerned, they have latrines built under blanket schemes like Swachh Bharat Mission, and they call those latrines as Modi latrines. And when the flood reels in, these latrines are simply submerged under water, submerged down flood water, and are of no use. So inevitably, so the diarrhea and jaundice breaks in, and yeah. So this is the situation of health. So malaria is a common problem. So these diseases are not common in human only, but also for the livestock. Okay. So life and livelihood, there is always an uncertainty about life and livelihood. When we talk about life and livelihood, we will have to talk about access to farmlands, the availability of fertile arable land. A change in climatic condition is also affecting the agricultural output in these villages. What if hailstorm happen in the flowering season of mustard, say in January? If hailstorm happens in the season, their mustard cultivation would simply dwindle down. So likewise, the March and April is the beginning of the wet rice cultivation, and often torrential rain happens. So if in case torrential rain happens in those period of time, wet rice cultivation can dwindle down. So this is the problem. And other thing is the waterlogging up to the month of October and November. So this is the season of growing potatoes and lentils. If waterlogging keeps in, if water doesn't dries up, there's a little chance that they can produce potatoes, because for cultivation of potatoes, the land has to be dry. So waterlogging happens. And the next thing is that the availability of agricultural land, because it is the same patch of land that has to be shared by multiple parties. And as the families are expanding, the access to land, the share of land are shrinking. So on top of all these things, there is also the anxiety of flood and erosion, and the displacement that it can bring, and the fear of the resettlement. So all these things, all these factors compels the youth of this particular village to move to town and cities. So many of the youth people, they are moving to Arunachal Pradesh, or they are moving to Hyderabad, Bangalore, to outer state. They work as a daily wage labor in towns and cities. They're moving out of the village. There's a problem of migration. So these are all water-induced problems. And the next thing is that one particular guy, his name was Mithun Dole, and he's a leader kind of guy. He says that they are peace-loving people. They do not want to fight. But the thing is that when they will have to resettle, they will have to go to other part of the river to find new place, to find new land. Yes, they might be peace-loving people. They might not want to fight with each other, but there is also the potentiality of conflict over land and access to water in the newly settled places. And the thing is that all these areas falls under the Poba reserved forest. These are all reserved land. And none has any patta, any kind of patta. And the land documents, they do not care about the land documents. They do not care about applying for one land document. They do not care about nothing. So it is because of this problem of erosion, they are simply indifferent about it. So yes, these are some emerging dynamics. On one hand, we have this traditional adapting mechanism and shift in observances about assumption about the river, the behavior of the river. And on the other hand, there are some technological interventions on engineering, the so-called engineering solutions to water. For example, NIPCO, they are constructing embankments. But these embankments over passage of time has proved that they are only accelerating, they are only worsening the condition of flood, because once one particular portion of embankment is breached in, the situation can be very tragic. So the coexistence of water and people in this village depends entirely, and we have to look further how they will adapt, how they will coexist with the river. So this is what we have, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Like it was giving a lot of insight, like how this kind of situation, when the mega dams was introduced for the first time in the northeastern part of India, I still can remember it was being told to our people that through this mega dams and all, they'll control the flood as well as they'll give irrigation to the people. That will be very helpful to the people. But till today, like we can see, we can hear many stories, we can see the plight of the people, like how it is causing much more difficulties to the people. And like how the people, like it is a really good initiative that we are trying to understand about the whole thing. But somewhere I'm feeling that we need to like talk to our people, let them also know about this, like how, because it is there in their mind that government is always for their welfare, for their good, and they always bound to them. But it is good that we need to be, but when they are really not working for our good, when the things which they are doing which is not helping us, which is creating much more chaos, then somewhere we need to intervene and we need to talk about this. So like I can understand how erosion has made our life so like pathetic. People has to migrate from their original place and go somewhere else, and like they cannot have their own land pattas, and without land pattas it is so difficult. When you bail also, it is so difficult without that. So it was very interesting and it was very insightful. Thank you so much to you. And like now we'll have a question hour. If there is any queries, or like if somebody wants to put any comments over that or want to share something, you can do that. The floor is open and we have time till 5.
I'm excited about, because we are already into the water business from last, more than 25 years. So, stories of water stories from India's north is a very interesting topic, which I can see it. Actually, I met looking to such stories for the first time in a webinar like this, but it's good. And I would like to share the concerns of with Lalram Rauta John about the Atlong River stream, because the fast drying up of rivers is a big concern for all of us, and the pollution threatening the pollution which threatens our ecological life. And on Manas story, that is on Mudoi Bill. Actually, I just wanted to see what would be the outcome of such meeting. Hema, if you are heading this, are we going to finalize a point and give it to the government? As John Lalramratha has also pointed out that the threatening status of this pollution and the fast drying up of sources has to be brought to the notice of the government. Are we, able to do such things from such talks and all? This is number one. Number two, regarding this Manas Ji, the ecological journey, it was a very interesting story that if it is a pond is very, connected with the mythological story, people, don't go there. I think this thing is not there still. And now they are not practicing it. I think it is all, gone, that taboo. Had that taboo still persist, our bill would have been very safer place for other, lives there. Thank you, Hema.
Yeah, my pleasure. So from my side, I would like to say that we are just trying to collect as many as stories related to water, what we think about water. It's water is our life, water is a source, like the very source of our living. 60% of our body contains of water, and if there is a scarcity of water, if because of water we are facing problems and all, then we need to address. And for this we need lot many people who are really facing this kind of things and all. We need to come together and we need to do something about it, and that is the objective of this. And I would like to request Ram or Bhai, can you please add something into this, highlight on this?
Yeah,
because they are the one.
Yeah, thank you for this prominent questions asking. So this is a process initiated just 2 years back in 2019 itself, from December onward, to actually reconnecting all our friends, people working on water sector in Northeast, and reconnecting ourselves, or reconnecting the knowledge of environment, knowledge of indigenous knowledge we have. So we are trying to reconnect our whole process of united approach to work further on water issues. So this is the first initiative we are doing to we are trying to develop some sort of stories from Northeast. Collectively we are trying to do that, and we should give deeper understanding about the water we are attached to it from different perspectives. That's the first things. And also you rightly mentioned about what we can do afterwards is the major questions here. The situations of Northeast right now in terms of water or environment and other issues related to indigenous people's rights over land resources is now in a blurred situation. So what we can do is it is a time to reconnect ourselves, and coming together is the main issues, and how we can strategize ourselves for future course of journey. The major issues we have, so we need to resolve it collectively. That is our one motto. And also with these stories, water stories, whatever comes out, we are discussing from last 1.5 months, every Saturday onward, almost 2022 stories has been we are discussing. So we are trying to develop such kind of stories narrative and print it out and give it back to the communities where in locally live. So this is the first kind of initiative happening in Northeast. Something is developed from there, from the community, and we are going to give back them some things about in hard copy or something in partial media. So this is our initiative is going on. So we welcome all of you to be a part of this process, and also need to be take care of to resolve further any challenges coming in future. And very interesting things has been raised by our earlier participants, who is from he's raised that the the ponds, mythological ponds. We had that Arimata Pukuris in Mudoibil area. We had. So these people of Mudoibil, very interestingly, still maintain the old taboos. They have, they actually believe on that. So with this story, actually, we are trying to invite more research, more academic research, because this is a story we are developing very non-academic way, with people's voice, through people's voice. So we are trying to request more academic research, more scientific research, who can do and who can come down to Mudoibil or any other story developing places from wherever we have developed those stories. We welcoming all those academic research they can do. We will help definitely for that. This is enough, I think, from my side. Amaba.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much, right? If anyone has any more queries or feedback or whatever, whatever is coming to your mind.
Thank you. That was very nice. We would like to visit Mudoibil if Hema takes us there.
Yeah, ask Bhai to do that. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we are a team.
sure. You're most welcome. Yeah. So maybe we can connect and come down to Mudoibil. So not only Mudoibil, and any stories we have where we have developed from. So you can visit, or we can visit together for those places.
Yes, in fact, there are many such short stories relating to rivers, actually. In fact, the migration of rivers. There are many stories, in hills, in Arunachal. I think in days to come, we may, come up with very interesting and enticing stories of rivers, that all culminates to great Brahmaputra. But they have their own stories all along while they flow. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for your interest. You are taking interest. I'm very happy for that. Thank you so much. If nobody has to say anything, I would like to add one more thing. After attending this water talk, I had a discussion with the women group with whom I work. From there, I have come to know that there are, though there is schemes running, this government is running many schemes for this for the water supply and all. But to be very surprised, to my utter surprise, it hasn't reached to those places yet where it needs to be reached. This all the water supplies and still, many people are there, many communities are there who just cannot imagine that they have to buy the water because they have to pay something. And in few villages, they have already collected money to install that pipes and all, but still there is no water is coming, no water is flowing through that. And these are the things, and somebody has to intervene and talk about all these things too. Though government is promoting, government is saying that they are going to give safe water, that will be the most what to say, that will be a potable water, and the water we are drinking is not safe and it is contaminated. And especially the women are very happy because they have to fetch water, and the water what we get in those interior villages are contaminated with iron, and they have to filter it with the help of sand and charcoal, pebbles and all. It's very tedious job where the women has to take all the burdens, and they were very happy. But once they have come to know that after paying also, the water is not they haven't received any water from those pipes, and they have to pay, and they cannot imagine buying water. These are
Is it
these are
happening
also
in
certain.
Northeast, Emma?
Yes, it is
Is it
happening.
happening in Northeast?
Yes,
You have to
in our
pinpoint.
place.
You have to
Yeah.
pinpoint the place.
Lot of
under
villages
JJ
in Morigaon district, in Sonitpur district, and now only we have heard the story of Mudoibil. There also people are not getting that water, this thing connection. They don't have that.
Maybe because we have JJM program in full swing, I think this should be, tackled very easily. I think PRI members or the social activists, self-help groups, they should come forward and reach out to the authority. I think Assam is
Yes,
very
yes,
much active in
true.
this field also, and we have
True.
an energetic chief minister now. I think under JJM it can be easily solved actually.
Yes, true. Yeah, Jal Jeevan Mission has taken lots of initiative by spending lots of money. But thing is that, so we need to, we need ourselves and also our people need lots of awareness related to how to get the rights of having water in their doorstep. But whole Jal Jeevan Mission's initiative in Assam mostly I haven't seen from last few years. So how is it initiating? Also in part of Northeast, we have been seen that Jal Jeevan Mission is something like going slow, keeping slow right now. And where it's actually required, it's not reaching to
Yes,
that place.
exactly,
And also
exactly.
in urban places, it's actually required, but not that much. It is there. But the
Mm.
question is that how our people is going to be take it seriously. All the members of PRI, all the contractors who was involving with this Jal Jeevan Mission initiative, also the district administrations to the higher level authority, and including the people who actually the beneficiaries, we call it beneficiaries. Actually, there should be the owner of that Jal Jeevan Mission's initiative. Last water talk is comes out that in Nagaland, it is Jal Jeevan Mission has been communitized, means communitized. One community 50-50% community initiative has taken place in Nagaland. So which way they are taking the responsibility of sharing the responsibility, we don't know. Maybe that's a good example from Nagaland we can borrow in future initiatives, whatever we are taking place in farm itself in rural area. So very interestingly, lots of videos coming up, lots of in social media how Jal Jeevan Mission is taking place. Maybe in our water talk, if you all are proposing for maybe from every state we have to give some sort of case stories. We bring out some case stories of Jal Jeevan missions also and show it into our higher authority how it's taking place in the ground. Maybe Hema.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing this. Even I had that kind of stories only. It is not working in those areas where it should have been in the interior villages and all, where people are facing lot of problems for potable water, for drinking, safe drinking water without iron contamination. So like it is already 5. If like if no one has any queries or any comments, we would like to like wind up the program. What do you say?
Maybe Rabindranath Guruji can give some sort of last thought. Sapanda
Yes,
can.
yes, please, please.
No, I would I like the talk today by Manas and the other person, Jion. So it was good talk, and I think we are progressing very nicely. Jal Jeevan Mission is a big mission, which is, I don't think it will be working as we think it should work. It is not working as it should work. So because the department of PHE, again I am repeating, it is everywhere in the whole of Northeast, and PHE department has been working last 50-60 years and still we don't have quality water and sufficient water and regular water supply. So this Jal Jeevan mission with the same set of engineers and officers, I don't know how far they will succeed. I think after Jal Jeevan mission is launched, we should launch a study on this.
Yes,
That
exactly.
what happened on of the investment, what happened to people, that should be the story.
Yes,
What
yes,
happened to
exactly.
the people around Jal Jeevan mission, that we should definitely focus on. So this much I should say, I must see, because I see in my area also Jal Jeevan mission is working. And what is new in it, they are putting overhead tank. What about the quality of water? You are putting overhead tank where you are loading water and then gradient water supply through the pipeline. But what about the quality of water? What kind of water you are loading in that tank?
Yes.
That is, nobody is ready to answer. So again, the same iron removal plant and same PHE iron removal plant which has failed hundreds of times in Assam. So where is the solution? So let us wait and watch how it is crashing. And it will definitely crash, for sure. But we cannot say it now. We should wait and we should conduct a study or survey on this.
Exactly.
And then we can claim it properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ravi Dada.
Hema,
Yes, yes, Louis, please.
yeah, just one or two lines.
Yes.
First, I will thank both the presenters has very nicely placed all the things. And Bhai also answered the things very well. Guruji has also put it in. But the things that this all these things are technically when we see it, there are some good and some bad. But for last 20 years working in north bank of the Assam, now I am seeing the Jal Jeevan Mission or whatever PSADs, whatever the water, all these things are hardly works for 3 to 4 months a year. Either it gets flooded and eroded or inundated or something like that. Otherwise, the intensive erosion has extremely damaged the structures. And the women who feel that have started feeling a pride that they are getting the water nearby, or they are not going to waste more time. Now, if we go to in my story, I will narrate in coming days. When I go to the Kobochapuri, I have seen that the PhD interventions in these areas, the structures they have built in these areas to supply water are not there. The structure has already eroded. The area which has 407, this is a sample type of thing, 475 households is now only with 375 households. In a course of 2 to 3 years, 100 households has left that area because of two things. One is more water and one is no water.
Yes.
One is more water means that is the flood season, and no water season is that is the season when erosion is there, and all these structures are already washed away or have been eroded away. So and then another thing that what will happen in the next step that we are saying, actually this Northeast Water Talks is actually when we look into it, we are presenting it, but we are bringing the people's view into it. The main thing is how people is feeling it. The stories that Manas has narrated or Jion has narrated, it is the story of the people. The people has just started filling the gaps on that. The effect of the water in terms of quality, in terms of flood, in terms of drying up of rivers or erosion, whatever it may be. So we will have to reach more and more vulnerable locations, not in and around the general locations, like Zion or Burab has said, just like Manas has said. So we'll have to reach more and more this kind of areas, and we'll have to bring about more stories. And then we can come up with a, just when in 2007, this Assam water policy has been taken up. Right from that period, this discussion is going on. Now it is getting more strength because of this network. And I hope that in the coming days, more such stories will be come up to influence the water policy that is whether it is a national water policy or it is a Assam state water policy or any water policy of any northeastern state. So that is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Louis. It was very insightful. So,
hello, ma'am. Hello.
yes,
Can
yes,
I
please.
also say something?
Yes, yes, please.
Yes, I'm Mary Chanong. Yes, I'm Mary Chanong from Meghalaya. So thank you so much for both presentation. It is very insightful. Okay, the story of this Wang Rangte and Subansiri. I think I have got many so in Meghalaya, okay, we have been especially we have been protesting this Umngot River, no? So in fact, the government they are planning to construct a dam now for a 10 to 11 years. Protesting, keep on protesting. So we have been mobilizing people to understand about the importance of Umngot River, the importance of river species, biodiversity. So I think this two presentation is really helpful for me, and it is a kind of witness for me to take back to the community. Okay, this witness for them to understand about the importance of the river, and plus also the danger of if the government construct a dam. Okay, so I've learned a lot from especially from the Subansari story. So in fact, the government, because they have been protesting a lot, so the government, in fact, in the month of last month, first they said that they are going to scrap the this project, the Umngot River Dam. But then when we again met the ministers and the power ministers, so we asked them a kind of written document. If they say they have been scrapped the dam, they should give us a kind of written document to all the villages, so that there is no more a kind of threat for us, no. Otherwise, we will still go ahead with our protesting or of movement regarding this Umngot River. So thank you so much, especially Bahaida. So you shared me the link this morning. I've been lost your contact for many years, but luckily I again got your contact from my diary. Thank you so much. So I think this is very good session today, and I've learned a lot. So whenever you have this kind of stories, I will love a kind of this webinar. I would love to join it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for your sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everyone's participation. It was really very, what to say, I was very happy to be the part of this, and we feel like, no, with our dialogue, with our discussion, only an amiable solution will come up. And like, thanks to Bhai, thanks to
Thank you,
Ram,
Hema.
yeah,
you,
thanks
Hema.
to one and all here. We'll keep in touch and we'll keep on discussing about things, and we are very hopeful that something meaningful will come up. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Hema. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.